What's up? Welcome back to Cameron+Deanna. My name is Cameron. We are chatting some of the latest cards coming to Lorcana in the upcoming Winterspell set. I am back from a cruise. It was great being on vacation. I'm rocking my new Spider-Man shirt from said cruise. We're having a good time. And so before we hop in, just want to do a quick call out. Not feeling 100%. I started feeling not great before the cruise, and then here we are. And so I'm going to do my best to not cough directly into the mic, but mistakes may be made. And so you have been warned. Hope everyone has a good time. Let's jump into it. So, as we've done before, we're going to be using Dreamborn for this, and we are going to be looking through. Can we do a little bit? Yes, that would be good. So we're going to be looking through, chatting through the cards. We're going to start by looking at just the rares, super rares, or legendaries. And then we'll go and talk through some of the other cards. If we have time, we will also try to brew a new deck. I do have one that I've already thrown together that I think is really bad, but I think it's a fun idea, and I'm excited to see how other people take that same idea. And then, we have some really cool stuff. Being called Winterspell, it is obviously a very winter-themed set. As you see, even with our top cards over here are snowballs and all of that kind of stuff. And so we also get the addition of Pocahontas to the game, as well as the addition of the Ghosts of Christmas. So Christmas past, present, and future are all now added in. And so there's some really cool stuff there. I'm excited for this. I really liked Whispers in the Well. I think it was a super cool set, and I'm very excited for this one as well. And we usually don't look at specific art styles because I don't overly care about art. In the sense of I want my cards to look cool. But in the sense of I typically am happy just playing whatever is the cheapest version of the cards. But man, look at these enchanteds, this paper mache style that we got for this set. It's super cool. I think this is a great, another really different but very cool enchanted art style. And so, love that a bunch. Love that a bunch. So let's get into it. Also, we're going to do our best to pronounce things. That's how things be sometimes. So, Akud et Muti. So this is a 3-action song that is hopefully legible on stream. And so you can pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn and to draw a card. So it basically lets you exert a character to reduce the next character by 2, which is pretty powerful. This lets you... if we have a 1-drop Singer 3, or a card that can shift for the cheap, like Diablo as an example, in Infinity, the fact that you can play a 4-drop character on turn 2 feels pretty cool. That does seem like a powerful interaction that you can do. I think that, the spoilers, the deck that I brewed is built around this card. And so, like I said, I think that version's pretty bad. Just because, I think if it misses it, it just is not good. But Lorcana is relatively forgiving in terms of having cards in your opening hand. And so, cool card. Potentially broken, but I doubt it. I love cards like this that are it replaces itself, but it is a tempo lost. Varath, how's it going? Yeah, we chatting Lorcana today. Next up, we got Angel. Angel is a 4-cost inkable 3/3. And Varath, how's your week been? Hope it's been fantastic. I feel like it's been so long since I've chatted with people, since I have been away and did not have access to internet for 6 days straight. So Angel, 4-drop 3/3. When you have no cards in hand, this character gains resist 2. And then once during your turn, you can choose and discard a card to deal 2 damage to chosen character. Lots of work stress. Ugh. Well, you're doing a lot of reading this weekend. Nice. I saw you finished Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Can't wait to hear what you think at book club next weekend. So, very excited. excited for you that you have done that, and very sorry about a lot of work stress. So I think Angel as a card is going to be insane. Like, by no means broken, or by no means like game warping, but Lorcana is starting to get to the point where, like, if you can have specific cards in your discard, you can do a lot of stuff. We're starting to get enough payoffs for that. And the fact that Angel just lets you discard a card every turn, I think is going to be more powerful than people realize. Hashtag eventually. Like, I don't know if that's going to be like when Winterspell releases, but I do think there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff with this Angel that again, just having a discard outlet is going to be very powerful. Sure, you also get to deal 2 damage to chosen opposing characters. It's really good with Cheshire Cat, because you could deal 2 damage, then move more damage to that character to take something out. If there's like something that had 4 toughness and you already had some damage on one of your things. So there's some cool options there. I think the resist is going to mostly just be flavor text. Like, because you basically never really want to be out of cards, but this is also like difficult. Or this has an interesting interaction with Goliath, because if you have no cards in hand, you could challenge something with resist 2. Then at the end of your turn, Goliath would draw you back up to 2 cards. So like that is kind of cool. It means you would never have resist on your opponent's turn, but you would have plenty of resources to start the next turn with that ability. So I think it's cool. Again, I think the flat just being able to discard a card every turn is going to be extremely powerful. If nothing else, in like a Circle of Life deck. So like, so here, like, sing together 8, play a character from your discard for free. So Angel's just base ability of singing half of Circle of Life and being able to discard the thing that you want to get back, I think is going to be very powerful. Next up, we got Angela, Night Warrior. 3 cost inkable to 3. When you play this character, you can give Challenger 2 and Resist 2 until give chosen character Challenger 2 and Resist 2 until the start of your next turn. And then your gargoyles lose the Stone by Day ability, so it means your gargoyles can ready no matter how many cards they have in hand. This is cool. What is there is a Steel Jafar. Yeah, so this one gives Challenger 2 also, but quests for 2. So here you're like trading. It's a slightly worse offensive card because Jafar is a 3/2 compared to a 2/3. And then it quests for less. But the fact that you can also just give resist to something is very powerful. Also works interestingly in a multiplayer game, since it's the start of your next turn. And so like you could give this to an opponent's character in like a 4-player game. Like Lorcana doesn't really care about that at the moment, but like it is interesting. Next up, one of the super crazy cards of this set, IMO, and that is Anna, a 5-ink 5/5. If a card left a player's discard this turn, this card gains shift 0. Then whenever this character quests, you can gain lore equal to the lore of a character card in your discard. Then if you do, put that card on the bottom of your deck. So if a card left the discard, this gets shift 0. So you can the 5 cost just no longer matters as long as you have some sort of synergy. And then you just want some other good card, like high lore card in your discard, that when she quests, you can get the 1 and then get whatever the lore is of that other one. So like McMouse is 5 for Big Mickey, right? Yeah, 5. I would be curious to how this interacts. Yeah, because cards in the discard don't have their ability. like, or don't have their modifiers applied. I don't know. I could be wrong there. So like, something like Tamatoa that gains a lore for every card that you have in play, I don't think would have that effect in the discard. But if you can gain an extra 2 or 3 here every turn, that seems pretty cool. Then kind of, again, here, going to this angel comment from earlier of like just ability to discard something, quest with Anna, and gain a bunch of extra lore. That seems pretty powerful as a baseline. Let alone then whatever else you could be doing with that discarding cards. And so, I don't know. I think this is super interesting. And the fact that it's shift 0. Shift 0 is obviously very powerful. Or shift minimal effect is very powerful. That's what part of what makes Diablo so strong. Is like shift discard a card on a card that draws you cards. It doesn't matter. And so we'll talk about a Kristoff later on. That works very well with this Anna, as you might expect. And so, yeah, I think this card's really good. Next up, we got Bambi. 4 inkable 3/5 boost 2. So you can pay 2, put a card under Bambi is what boost does. And then during your turn, whenever this character exerts, reveal a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards under him. Put all revealed character cards into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So if you've boosted twice, you look at the top 2, keep any characters, which is pretty good. Like, Amber already is the character color. I think this is also the type of card that would be good with Ikud, because like you could play this on 4 on your turn 2, then boost it on turn 3, exert it, and you get the card back. Hopefully. So like, that seems cool. Like anything that you can do. I like this also works when you're challenged with Bambi. It doesn't just have to be quest, but yeah. The fact that this could eventually draw you 3 to 4 cards if you're able to just keep boosting or putting cards under them. I like it. Next up, the Battering Ram. Deal 1 damage to chosen damaged character or banish this item to banish a location. Cool flavor. I know we've had some good locations, but there hasn't been a good location deck. I think something like Battering Ram is a good safety valve to have, just in case some absurd like 16 to 20 location deck comes about. So, don't necessarily have a ton else to say. Dealing a damage to a damaged character, at least it's free. Like, it doesn't cost you a lore to just deal a free damage. So like, that works great with Malicious, Mean, and Scary. But I could not see this in the current state of the game being anything more than a 1 of at the most, and that feels like a stretch. Next up, Beast. A 2 ink 3/1 with Rush, so they can challenge a turn that they're played, and then whenever this character challenges, if he is at a location, he takes no damage from the challenge. That's really cool. Again, like there's these cool locations that have been floating around, and so the fact that like if you can get Beast to one of those for the cheap, like, so like not necessarily play him as a 2-drop, but play it on like turn 3 or turn 4, play Beast, move him to the location, and then just deal 3 free damage, basically. Like, that seems very strong. Yeah, I like it. Next up, Bell. 4 ink 2/3 quests for 2. Whenever one of your characters is banished, you can put that card from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. So turns everything into like Ludwig's. Also notably, it does go into your discard and then into your inkwell, so that actually triggers Anna. So you could like challenge something, have it go to the discard, then go to your inkwell, and then shift Anna for 0. So that's kind of cool. One of the big things that I've said for a lot with Lorcana is like, if you just get an interesting effect on a 2 quester, like a card that has 2 the lore pips, like you can start doing a lot just on the virtue of like how much 2 lore is and the threat of that. And so yeah, so this is really cool. Also, Belle obviously protects herself. So like if Belle is banished, you still get her into your inkwell. So that's pretty fancy. I like this a lot. This is like my style of card because I don't know what we're doing with this, but we're having a good time. And that's what we are all about. Next, we got Chernabog, 5 uninkable 5/4. When you play this character, you may shuffle chosen opposing character into their player's deck. If you do, that player may play a character from their discard for free. Lots of P's there. And so basically you get rid of something, but then they get something from their discard for free. I like this. I think this is fancy. So like a lot of the cards that deal with putting things into somebody's deck, they don't have to be yours or they don't have to be an opponent's. I should say. So like typically if it's a positive effect, it's always yours, but not always. Like the Queen, there's a version of the Queen that like takes 3 cards from your opponent's discard and puts them on the bottom. And so like that's a lot. And so it seems pretty reasonable to me with Chernabog that you could build a situation where your opponent has no characters that they can play from their discard. Like if you're going to build around this effect. And so that seems very powerful that you can just come through and knock that out. In which case this just becomes like better Hades. Like it's a 5-drop instead of a 7-drop. And then it still quests for 2, and it like is harder for your opponent to get rid of since it's a 5/4, or it's harder for your opponent to not trade with. There we go. That's the way to say it. 6 willpower on Hades is a lot, but so yeah, that seems pretty good. But yeah, the fact that you can just probably get rid of something for free seems very powerful. Cobra Bubbles, a 5 uninkable 3/5. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't challenge and must quest during their next turn if able. So I like this style effect. There's a keyword called Reckless where they must challenge if able and can't quest. And so this is being the inverse of this. It's an interesting way of protecting your characters. I think we'll see another example of this on a Pocahontas later on. But yeah, this is a really good protection piece of just like, yeah, like, hey, your big attacking thing, it just can't hit my stuff. And if you can't get enough things, like, and also again, surprise quests for 2, like, there's a card, it was reprinted in Fabled. I always misspell Ursula. So like a 3-drop. Yes, it's this Ursula Sea Witch. When this character quests, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of their next turn. So like the thing that I think is so powerful about this is that you can get into a situation where like, hey, you have one character, and it just can never ready. And so we're going to just lock it down and keep you from being able to have that one character be useful. But this is on a 3/3 with that quest for 1. Whereas like, sure, Cobra does make them quest, but it makes it so it protects you and protects your own characters in a similar way. And so I think this is very cool. Probably too expensive for a lot of the Amber lists, but I do like Sapphire Amber. And of course, Sapphire is kind of like really the only color that consistently plays higher than 5 cost cards are Sapphire lists. So I feel like there's a handful, of course, of exceptions like the Amber Amethyst list. But generally speaking, most of the other lists are, if you're not playing Sapphire, you're playing something faster. Color of the Wind, 4 inkable Song. Each player reveals a top card of their deck. Draw a card for each different ink type of cards revealed this way. A classic example of a card that, let me go down here a little bit, that if Lorcana ever finds a like true multiplayer format, we're going to be like, hey, surprise, this card is now like worth a lot. Let me move my cam. Oh, wrong thing. Here we go. Let's go down this way. Okay. And so, like, I can see this, like, if we ever get, again, like, our version of Commander, or whatever that looks like for Lorcana, then this also is great with dual ink cards. So, like, you can have a card on top of your deck that is 2 different colors. And so if you have a purple steel card, like Giant Cobra, like, this would just draw you 2 cards, regardless of what your opponent does. And so, like, even in a 2-player game, theoretically, you could hit 4. Get to draw 4 cards off of this, which feels Magical Christmas Land to the extreme. But I definitely think is very cool. And if there are ways of manipulating the top card of your deck, or knowing what is on there, and if you want to play this card, I could see this being a cool way of, like, drawing 3. Like, if you could draw 3 off of this, that feels great. But most likely you're going to only ever draw a max of 2. But I like it. It feels similar to Friends on the Other Side, which is just a 3-drop song that draws 2. This is a 4-drop song that most of the time is going to draw 2, but occasionally could draw 3 or more. Realistically, it's going to ever draw 2, like I said. Yeah, it's just interesting for that. Again, this is a card that, like, again, I feel like it's worse than Friends on the Other Side 99% of the time, but the 1% of the time is very interesting to me. Next up, Containment Unit. When you play this item, choose a character they can't challenge or quest until while this item is in play. Then at the start of your turn, choose and discard a card or banish this item. So this is a cool, like, lockdown piece, like, very akin to what we see a lot in Magic, where we have, like, Oblivion Ring style effects that just comes in. You're going to just put this card off to the side until this goes away. And then it has a cost to keep it out. So very cool. I don't know what you're doing with this. Like, you need to want to discard things or have things that you really want to lock down, because having to discard a card every turn is having to discard versus Angel that's choosing to discard. Very different things. Okay, Copper. Shift 3. Are there other Coppers? Champion of the Forest. 5 cost, or 5 inkable 3/5, quest for 2. This character quests your characters with evasive, gain +1 lore this turn. Oh, a little evasive lore. I'm not huge with them. I mean, I'm sure there's other cards that use the champion word besides the 6 champions, but, like, I kind of wish champion became a little, like, started to mean something in the game of Lorcana. Because we have, like, Emerald Champion. Try, how's it going? Yeah, we chatting, Lorcana. How you doing today?
Hello there.
I hope you're having a fantastic one. Okay, so Copper is new for this set. Okay, I don't feel crazy now. Okay, so there's a common and uncommon Copper. When you play this, they reveal their hand, and then this has Rush and Reckless. So, this is an interesting card. One of my teammates was talking about this one. Just because it's similar to Maui. This hits the thing that I don't like about Lorcana, which is, like, this is a card that pays off your evasive characters, but it is not evasive. And so, like, this having 2 Coppers doesn't help himself, and the cards that he shifts from don't have evasive. And so, I don't think that's great. But evasive is very powerful, like, obviously. And so I could see this finding a home in a Amethyst Emerald list, specifically in Infinity, where you have Diablo. That is just, like, one of the most powerful cards. And so if you can constantly be questing and closing, like, one of the places that the Emerald Amethyst deck struggles is closing out the game, even once you get your opponent to 0 cards. And so a card like this, especially if we ever get a better Copper, or you play this with Morph, because, like, there's an Emerald Steel list that just runs Morph, and then, like, a bunch of cards that shift, and so I could see that being a thing. About to start work and do laundry. Ooh, I hope those go well. Oh, you did laundry. Oh, nice. Yeah, I hope work goes great. I hope you are doing good as well. I was telling Varath, it feels so weird to have been away, and so I'm excited to be back. Excited to be chatting again. And I'm also excited for Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. So we have a handful of Darkwing Ducks, a 7 inkable 6/8 quests for 2 with shift 5. At the start of your turn, whenever an item is banished, pay 1 to deal 2 damage to chosen character. So this is very, and then has this character can challenge ready villains characters, because evildoers beware. That feels like flavor text. Like, there are some, like, well-played villains. Oh, Cameron's on. Yes, I was busy last week with the cruise. I guess technically I wasn't on the boat yet, but was in a place where I was away from my computer. So yeah, there are some really good villains in the game. So like evildoers beware. Like, I feel like a lot of times, like when I say something is like trinket text, it's just like it's gonna never come up. It's like, oh no, this will come up. I think like Darkwing is a 6/8, which is really good at challenging things. But it's not necessarily something you're going to be able to play or to build around, because you're not going to know if your opponent is going to have villains. This definitely feels like a go and read type thing of like, wait, what's on the board? And then, yeah, I take that a lot. I play Blurple, even in Infinity, and in Infinity, I'm probably going to Blue Steel, which is all about items and banishing those items, and like the fact that you can just banish this item for whatever effect into also 2 damage feels really strong to me. Like, again, you have to want to play Darkwings, then you have to want that payoff, but that deck can hit 7 ink very easily and plays enough items. Like, that seems like a very reasonable thing that you could do. Next up, we got Darkwing Duck Dark Warrior, a 5 inkable 4/5, quests for 2 with Challenger 2. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, this character gains resist 1 until the start of your next turn. So if you banish multiple items, you gain multiple resists. Pretty strong. Again, I don't know for both of these. I don't know if there's enough items in core that you would want to be banishing for this to really be a thing, but I like it as a payoff. And then we'll talk about this with the third Darkwing Duck as well, but notably these characters are detectives, and there are already some Blue Steel lists in core that are playing detective synergies. And so very possible that just like off the back of being a detective, these can gain some footing. So our last one of these, Darkwing Duck Dashing Gadgeteer, 4 ink 3/5, quest for 1. When this character quests, you can put an item card from your discard on the bottom of your deck. If you do, you may play an item with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. So this is like the engine for the other Darkwings, where like you've banished these items, now you're going to put one on the bottom, and then you're going to also get one back for free. So you didn't need a really good 5 cost item. Like, I think that's kind of the biggest thing here, but like if you have a way of discarding an item, discard that item and then just quest with this on turn 5 or on turn 4 if you're ramped. Like, that seems like it could be a thing. The party you were at last night, there was a lot of MTG players. Go on. That's exciting. Very cool stuff. Next up, we got Darkwing's Chair Set, a 3 cost uninkable. When you play this item, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted, so it does Mickey Mouse Detective. Then you can exert and banish it to remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. The character's named Darkwing Duck. If a character named Darkwing Duck is chosen. remove 4 damage instead. Notably, all of these like big dark wings have 5 or more willpower, and so it's cool. Like, you can basically reset them. I like that this ramps you. I don't think that we had an item like this before, where Oswald. So we have this Oswald. That is, during your turn, whenever a card is put in your inkwell, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an item, you can put it into play for free and it enters play exerted. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. So there wasn't a good item that you could Oswald with, in the sense that, like, there was nothing that let you keep going. But this chair now, you can play Oswald on 2, ink something, get this effect, and then regardless of if you hit or not, you could then pay 3 ink for the chair, which gets you an ink, and then lets you reveal if you happen to hit another chair, you now keep going. Again, there's not a lot of this effect, but like, again, this is the type of card that I feel like if we get 1 or 2 other things like that do this style effect, we could start to see some crazy stuff, especially since it seems like we're going to be moving away from double inking on turn 2 to getting double ink on turn 3, once we get to rotation. So I think there's a lot that could happen here. This could start to become a bigger deal once we get to the new rotation. Do you want to build a snowman? A 3 uninkable song. Chosen opponent chooses yes or no. Yes, you gain 3 lore. No, they then choose a character of theirs and put that card on the bottom of their deck. This feels kind of similar to Hades, that we got last set, where you chose a character and they either put it on the bottom or you drew 2. This time it's you gain 3. The fact that they get to choose the character, I feel like, means that they're going to be saying no a lot to this, because they're going to just be like, I'm going to choose no, and I'm going to pick my 1-drop or my character that's already high on damage or whatever. Like, it feels like yes is going to be very hard to get 99% of the time. It feels very easy to be like, nah, I'm going to put whatever on the bottom. I assume if they have no characters, they have to say yes, which would kind of be the only other way that this would work. But yeah, if that isn't the case, yeah, I don't know how you would ever really get a yes. But songs that can get lore are very powerful, though I think this feels pretty weak in that. Next up, we got Donald Duck, Fred Honeywell. There we go. Let's see, a 4 inkable for 4, quest for 1. When you use the boost ability of a character, you can put the top card of your deck under them face down. So you get to double boost, basically. Chosen opponent's turn. During opponent's turn, whenever one of your other characters is banished, you may draw a card for each card under them. So it pays off both by letting you boost twice, basically, and then you get to draw cards after the fact. I also like that Donald, like for this Well Wishes ability, works with shift characters. So if a character, if you've shifted your Anna, kind of going back to this, like Anna would have a card under her, the card that she shifted onto. And so then if she was banished during an opponent's turn, you would get to draw a card. So like, that seems cool. And honestly, I think that might be more powerful than the boost ability, is just because like shift characters can already do so much where they are effectively a singer. Like it's a shift 4, like this Elsa over here is a shift 4, but it is a 6. So like kind of has singer 2. Like, and yeah, the fact that you just have this ability to keep on getting your cards back or getting more stuff. Seems pretty cool. Next up, we got Dr. Hamsterville. 8 inkable 5/5 quests for 2. 8 is insane. But for each alien character card in your discard, you can pay 1 less to play this character. And then when you play this character, chosen opposing character can't challenge during their next turn. So you get to lock something down. Interestingly, this isn't the same as Bogo or his Bubbles ability where they had to quest. In this one, they just can't challenge. So that's interesting. Like, you're not guaranteed to have them exerted. This card, we jest about 8 being insane, but the fact that like you don't have to lose the aliens in your discard like you do for Big Chernobog from like set 3, is that what it's from? But yeah, like the fact that you can just theoretically play multiple of these, like that feels pretty strong to me. And again, is another card that cares about you just having stuff. And of course, synergizes with our Angel. Since Angel deals is just an alien, like you could have some number of just aliens ready to go. Yeah. If you can play 2 of these, like for 3 ink each, that feels pretty good. Like play them on 1 turn. I mean, like that seems like a really cool thing. I don't know what you're doing with that, but like that does seem cool. Next, Duke Weaselton, 3 ink, 3/3. When this character is banished, you can play a character with cost 2 or less for free. So similar to Amber Lady, that's a 3-drop that lets you play a 2 or less for free. Notably, the Duke does need to be banished for that to work, but this lets you play a character on your opponent's turn, which seems pretty cool. There's a... Is it a Mufasa? Yes, this one. Betrayed Leader. When this character is banished, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card, you can play that character for free, and they interplay exerted. Otherwise, put it on the top of the deck. So, like, this seems like an interesting home in that style deck. Duke does have to you have to have the card in hand, but that does seem powerful. Probably too slow or too hard to control, but is definitely interesting. I say in the sense of like if you play this on 3, you can't challenge till 4, and they have to have something that Duke can trade with. Like getting a free 2-drop on turn 4 is a little different than being able to quest with that 2-drop on turn 4. But next up, Eeyore. 9 is insane. 9 inkable 5/5 quests for 2. For each exerted character in play, you can pay 1 less to play this character. Counts yours and opponents. And then when you play this character, for each opposing character, you can choose a character of theirs. They can't ready at the start of their next turn. So Eeyore locks something down the turn that they are played. And then we have, what's her name? Demona. So like we have this Demona, that when you play this character, exert all opposing characters. They, then each player with fewer than 3 cards in hand draws until they have 3. So like if you can use this to exert 4 or 5 characters, and you have 4 or 5 characters that can challenge or quest or do something, you can just play Eeyore for free and lock down one of their things. Like, I'm in. Like, that seems really cool. As I said with one of the other cards, I love cards that lock down your opponent's stuff and just makes it so like, hey, this character can't do what you were expecting to do. Again, is that good enough? I don't know, but like, this seems interesting. Like, and again, it seems not hard to get this out for the cheap, and they're a 5/5. Like, even if you're behind in an aggro matchup, Like if they've quested with like, if they have like 3 exerted characters and you have 1 character in play that can quest, like it doesn't seem that hard to play Eeyore. Again, is that really what you want to be doing at that slot? I don't know, but like it does not seem impossible to play Eeyore for very cheap. Yeah. Next up, Alyssa Maza, Transformed Gargoyle, 3 Inkable for 4, quest for 1. Your character's strength can't be reduced below their printed value. Like, and then Stone by Day, if you have 3 or more cards in hand, this character can't ready. Like, your character's strength not being able to be reduced is really interesting. And that's like a style effect that I like. Are there cards that lower their own value? And then now those cards are really good because their value can't be lowered. Like, it's like, it obviously doesn't work this way, but like, where's Prince John? It's like this Prince John is a 5/5, but when an opponent plays a character, it deals 1 damage to Prince John. So like if there's a card that exists currently that had some like negative modifier or got weaker based on its damage, like that would be something that like Prince John would work with. Again, this is the opposite, but like Lawrence, if Lawrence has no damage, he gains +4 strength. If there's a card that's the inverse of Lawrence, where if they have damage, they lose strength, like that would be really powerful. Just because like cards like Lawrence are balanced around you only get that 4 damage once. And so again, if that goes away, like that'd be really cool. I just don't know if there's cards that really hit that effect. There are cards that like lower your opponent's character's strength, but like I don't know how many of them are seriously played. Is it Scrump? Yes, Scrump. Chosen character gets -2 to the start of your next turn. Again, like Scrump is not like seriously played, but like again, feels cool. Next up, Ilsa, Ice Artisan. Fantastic art, and we showed off some of the enchanteds earlier, but super cool looking enchanted. Again, I love this papercraft. If anybody has a chance, you should go check out Fenway Fan. I don't believe they worked on any on the set, but they have some very cool art in this same style. I have some up over there of Scarlet Witch. And so, back to the top. Okay, Elsa, 6 Inkable, 5/5, shifts 4. When you play this character and whenever you play a location, you can exert chosen character with 3 strength or less. And then whenever this character is at a location, she quests for an additional 3. So she quests for 4. So this one's really weird to me. So like, it's not when you move to a location. It's just when you play a location, you get to exert something for free. Like this feels really good with the beast that we have over here. Where like, you already have this beast at a location. You shift this Elsa, make them exert something, and then take it out for free with the beast. And then from now on, you just have this like ready to go anytime you play a location. Again, locations haven't been a serious thing, but maybe like a way of quickly closing out the game. Like questing for 4 is serious. Should go down a little bit. So questing for 4 is very serious. Cards pre-ordering for $40, which feels bananas to me, unless there's like a cracked list that I just haven't seen, which I have not had internet for the past 6 days, so entirely possible. And so I think Elsa's super cool. I'd be very interested to see what that card can actually do. Okay, Freeze the Vine, which presumably is going to have to do with the new set. It was going to be like the lead into the next set. So a 4 Inkable action, banish all locations, draw 2 cards, then choose and discard a card. Weird collection of words on this card. Like banishing locations and then drawing and discarding. Like, but not, it's not based on if you just banished stuff. Like, I think this card would be really interesting if it was banish all locations, draw a card for each location banished this way, then choose and discard a card. Or if you do, then discard a card. Something like that, so you don't get hosed if there's no locations. Like, yeah, this is super weird to me. Again, like, feels like crazy location hate when there just have not been great locations, and then the draw 2 is just like slapped onto it. But I like it. Again, I love these weird cards that are like, hey, if something becomes a huge meta-defining thing, suddenly this card is here. Like, let's go. So next up, we got Genie 3, Inkable 3/4 with boost 1. This character quests or gets +1 lore for each card under him. So if you play Genie, so right now, like in Blurple, our curve is on turn 1, you play Basil or Rafiki. On turn 2, you ramp with Tipo or Sail. So then on turn 3, you have 4 ink, which means you could play Genie, boost him, and then on your next turn, boost again, quest for 3. That feels pretty cool. Also does great with Donald, where like you would then get to boost. Obviously now this curve's different because now we're in a purple-green deck, but like boost 1 like just gets you extra cards all the time with this Donald in play. Like, and then this card also has that payoff. So like you could say you quest for 1 on the first turn, then the first time, because you play this on 3, play Donald on 4, then on turn 5 you get that double boost from those abilities, quest for your 3, and then now if they take out Genie, you draw 2 cards. That seems pretty cool. We got Goofy, 4 uninkable 4/4, boost 2. When this character is banished, each opponent chooses and discards a card for each card that was under him. So interesting that you can banish Goofy to make your opponent's discard. It doesn't have to be banished during your opponent's turn. So if you have like 2 cards under Goofy, and they have a boost, or they have a character that you can take out, you could just like boost, put a 3rd card under, take it out, trade with Goofy, they discard 3. Again, like that feels pretty cool. You give up a lot of tempo to boost, especially like boost 1 compared to boost 2. Like that gap is gigantic. But if you can get 1 or 2 cards under Goofy, like this just becomes a very threatening card. Just because your opponent becomes able to throw it away. You may able to just like throw it into your opponent's stuff. So very cool. I like this. I like that we're getting more boost. Because there's a lot of really cool Emerald boost cards from Whispers, like Flynn. Like this Flynn Rider. That again is a boost 2, but then when there's a card under him, he gets +2 strength and quests for an extra, so he quests for 2. So basically, like that style effect seems really cool. It's just such negative tempo to boost. Next up, we got Goofy. Oh, and then also the Ghost of John Marley. So we're getting our Ghosts of Christmas coming in here. Our things from that IP. John Marley isn't one of the ghosts, right? But or isn't one of those 3 ghosts. But next up, we got Goofy, Klutzy Skier 1/2. Banish this character, banish chosen character. Weird effect. Another very weird one on a 2 quester. That like, hey, you could quest for 2, or you can just get trade. Basically, be like, we're gonna get rid of my Goofy and your whatever. That's pretty cool. I don't know how you want that, but like that is pretty cool. Next up, we got Grandma Tala, 12 uninkable, which is insane. 6/6. And then, as you may have guessed from all of these insanely high-costed things, we got a cost reducer. For each card in your inkwell, you can pay 1 less to play this character. So 6 ink, this becomes a 6-drop. So it becomes a 6 ink 6/6 that quests for 2, which isn't great. But past that, you can get some really cool stuff. This feels like this is just a big character that is not big enough, and it's going to be too slow. IMO. I think there's just too many other things that you would rather be playing than this Greymont Tala. But I've been wrong before. Next up, Grand Councilwoman. 4 uninkable 3/5 quests for 3. This is just a rare. And this feels like it's just a rare. Like, I could see this going somewhere, like in like our alien deck with like Dr. Hamsterville, but like, I don't know. It feels gimmicky. Okay, next up we have the Graveyard of Christmas Future. 4 inkable. It's 1 to move to the graveyard, and the graveyard has 8 willpower, and this gains you a lore at the start of your turn. When you move a character here, put the top card of your deck under this location face down. At the start of your turn, you may put all cards under this location into your hand. If you do, banish this location. So, like, theoretically, this could draw you, like, 2 or 3 cards. And then you just get rid of the location. I wish that this wasn't at the start of your turn. This also worked like if your opponent banished this location in a challenge or something, you could get those cards. It feels too gimmicky there, but again, if you can like move 2 or 3 characters here, do some stuff, and then take something out like ... and then at the start of your turn you draw 2 cards again, cool. Or if they just like don't have stuff that can take out your location, just keep questing. You can't move a character to a location they're already at. But if you had another like version of this card out, you could like move back and forth. Dogpile, how's it going? Thank you for that follow. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. My name's Cameron. This is Cameron+Deanna. We are chatting Lorcana and the new Winterspell cards that are coming to the game. Appreciate you coming by. What are you playing? What are you watching? What are you listening to? And I hope you're having a great day. Next up, we got John Smith. 5 uninkable 3/5. Oh, and if you're a Lorcana player, what's your favorite cards? What are your favorite decks? What are you looking forward to for Winterspell? You may not be a Lorcana player. You may have just popped by and dropped a follow. But okay, John Smith. 3/6 quests for 2 with Bodyguard. Your opponents must choose this card for actions and abilities if able. I love the flavor of this card. So Bodyguard means that if this card is exerted, it must be chosen to challenge before other non-bodyguards. And then it also must be chosen by your opponent's actions and abilities. I think that's super fun. I do think that there's also like some number of times that this just like randomly hoses your opponent because they didn't, they just like had an item that had an ability and now they have to choose John Smith and they hadn't anticipated that. And so like, because like this is even like if your opponent has something beneficial that happens, they have to choose John Smith if they can. And so I think that's super interesting. Thanks. Been collecting for a short time. Ooh, nice. Started to get interested in playing. Ooh, I hope you have a great local community. I know I'm in DFW and we have a really good local scene. And so lots of great players. I hope you're able to find a great place. I've been playing for just over a year, I think. That's how it works out. So, but yeah, favorite card, or if you have like what your favorite card is that you have collected, let me know. Okay, then we have John Smith's Compass, 3 inkable item. The end of turn, if a character was challenged this turn, if a character of yours challenged this turn, there we go, banish this item. So basically, if you don't quest with your stuff or hold them back, this goes away. Then at the end of your turn, if none of your characters challenged this turn, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card with cost 3 or less, or named Pocahontas, you can put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it at the bottom. So this gives you more characters if you're only questing. This reminds me of like Queen's Chromium. Is that what the Queen's Sensor Core? So the start of your turn, if you have a princess or queen, it gains a lore, and then 2 exert. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a princess or queen, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it on top of your deck. So like this kind of has some of those same vibes, except you lose it if you ever challenge. I do like that this also could hit higher costs Pocahontas. It is the cards are 3 or less or are named Pocahontas. And so I think that's really interesting. We'll see a higher cost Pocahontas later on. And so I do think that that's an interesting way you could like set something up. Ideally, this is drawing you a card every turn. If you're in like an aggro deck, turn 3 is a very stressful time to play this card. If you're playing aggro, like that's a hard turn to take off. Like that's either like you need to be like turning the corner to close out the game, or you need to be settling in for the long game. And I feel like the compass isn't necessarily going to be what you want there. Like, but maybe you play this on turn 4 or turn 5 after it's become clear that you're not winning next turn. Then this just becomes a way of getting some amount of value. So next up, we got Jumba Jukaba. 8 cost. 8 is insane. 4 or 5. Quest for 2. For each card you have in play, you can pay 1 less to play this character. Let's go. This card's amazing. Whenever this character quests, you can move all damage from chosen character. This card is bananas. So Deanna plays... do I have a... I don't know if I have like our current version of this list up on my page. I do not. Popular. Let me go. Let's find a dog's deck. And so like in a deck like this where you have, let's change our view, where you have a ton of 1-drops. And then you have like your tramps. Oh, this doesn't even have big tramp. Like you just have so many cards that you can get into play. And if you can get this, so 1-drop on turn 1, you play your Daisy. Turn 2, you play double 1-drops. You now have 3 characters in play. So this card costs 5. On turn 3, you would have 3 characters in play, 2 ink. You ink up to 3. Like play Daisy or play Lady. You now have 5 cards in play, and you have enough ink to play this for the ink that you have in play on the next turn. Like on turn 4, that seems pretty cool. Like I think this card could be really good. Like it's big. It fits into a spot in that deck where there's already like you just already want to be playing so many things in that deck that this just feels really, really strong. Yeah, I like Jumba a lot. Next, we got Kristoff for uninkable. Oh, and also he's inkable. Like just a big card that is a payoff, or you can ink early in the game if you need to. Like super interesting. I think there's a good chance this card sees some play. Dogs is already one of the stronger decks in the game. So, next up, Kristoff, 4 uninkable 4/4. When you play this character, if you have a character named Anna in play, you can put a card from chosen player's discard on the bottom of their deck. Then, once during your turn, whenever a card leaves your discard, draw a card. So, you play this if you already have an Anna in play, do this effect, and you get to draw a card. Pretty good. This also, so that top ability, if you have a different Anna in play, lets you shift this one for 0. And then later on, whenever this Anna quests and you get rid of the card from your own discard, you get to draw a card also. That seems really cool. Yeah, I like this Kristoff a lot. Again, this is like a very different style deck that we would need to be playing. But I really like this synergy between this Kristoff and the Anna. And I don't think the other Kristoffs have really cared about Annas that much. Am I crazy? Like this one doesn't care about Anna. For each song you can pay 1 less to play this character. Yeah, the other Kristoffs never cared about Anna in specific, and so I like that we're getting that now. I guess they are not married yet, right? So it makes sense that he's not a king. But while like Anna is a queen, so yeah, I like this a lot. I think this is a cool card. Again, this is a very me card, just because like what does this do? Things. And I like cards that do things, even if the things I could be doing is winning the game instead. So, much to the chagrin of my ink-screwed Steel Song opponent at DLC Milwaukee in the Infinity event, as I'm over here just like drawing 8 cards a turn or something like that, and they're stuck on 3 ink. Let's see. We're stuck on 2 ink, I think is what they're at. Kristoff's Loot. 3 uninkable item. Exert, pay 2, reveal the top card of your deck. You can play it as if it were in your hand. Otherwise, put it in your discard. So basically, 2 ink a turn to get an extra card. Doesn't seem worth it. Like there's already, like I feel like you would rather just like draw a random card with other effects rather than just like having to pay 2 to have the chance of maybe playing a thing. It is cool that it goes to the discard. Again, there's a lot of discard payoffs, but yeah. Let it go. Cool reprint. Glad it's back. Let's Get Dangerous. 4 inkable song. Each player shuffles their deck and then reveals the top card. Each player who reveals a character card can play that character for free. 1 second. Oh, we back. And play that character for free. Otherwise, put the revealed cards on the bottom of the player's deck. So high risk card, right? Because you could hit the best character you have, but your opponent could also hit the best character in their deck. And so, there definitely are decks that this would be better against than others. Like if it's a more control-y deck, like the odds of them hitting a character are slimmer, but the odds of them hitting a bigger character are higher. So like if you're thinking like playing this against like blue-red and Infinity, like yeah, you could hit Tipo or Popsicle, or you could hit their Tamatoa. Like, or you could hit their Hades or their Maleficent Dragons. Like, you could hit so many different things that, like, the risk of this card is insane, and I'm in for it. Am I going to play it? Definitely not, but I do think it's cool that it's here. Next, we got Lilo bundled up. 2 uninkable 1/2. During each opponent's turn, the first time this character would take damage, she takes no damage instead. And then she quests for 2. Very cool. So basically they have to like double challenge into her. They can't like throw a 0 at her either just to break it. She has to take damage to break that. Cool. Like this is like, it just feels like a very weird card. That like, I feel like would be really good. Like, again, it's just hard for them to challenge into, and it feels like you could quest that, like, if they're spending 2 characters to take out Lilo, you're just so excited about them not taking out your other stuff. So, yeah, I think this is a cool card. I could see this card definitely seeing play. If we get a steel, like, in our steel aggro lists. Next up, Lilo Rockstar. 6 inkable 3/5 shifts 4. When you play this character, you can play a character cost 2 or less from your discard for free. Love that. I love that this we have like Stitch Rockstar. I believe is playing guitar, so we're getting a little theme going here. Yeah. So Stitch Rockstar is playing guitar, and then Lilo Rockstar is playing the drums. Love that for us. And then, yeah, I like that she plays a card for free whenever she quests. I like that you can get back the other Lilos. I like that, again, you have so many random ways of discarding things that, like, if this is like the top end of your aggro list, like, again, going back to dogs, that is playing the 2-drop Lilo, like the fact that you could just, this could be your kind of an expensive card in that deck, but you just get to shift it, quest with it, and then now you get to get something back for free. Get a Daisy back for free. Like, I like that. Seems cool. Next up, we got Ling. 3 inkable 2/3, quest for 2, and then for 1 ink, chosen character gains 1 strength this turn. Very strong. There's a lot of cards. We have, they're poking out from me. We have this Mulan later on. And then there's the 1-drop lady that also quests based on its strength. And so, or if its strength is 3 or more, it quests for 3. The fact that you just have that as a free effect on an inkable card that also quests for 2, I feel like is a very strong effect for that deck. Could definitely see that going places, just because it slots so well into that existing deck. If this was uninkable, I think it'd be a different conversation, but the fact that it is also inkable, I think does a lot for you. That also gives the deck outs. If there's just like that deck can get into situations where, like, your characters are just not big enough to do anything. This gives you the out of, I'm going to just pump up my thing and take something out. Like, make a weird trade or do something if you have to. Next, one of my favorite cards in this set, because once again, what does this do? Something. 5 uninkable 5/5 for Marshmallow Cranky Climber. Quests for 2. When this character quests, each opponent can't ready more than 1 of the characters at the start of their next turn. We looked at Demona earlier, which is a 6-drop and exerts all of your opponent's characters. So this would let you play Demona, exert everything that they have, quest with Marshmallow. They now can only ready 1 character. I like that a lot. Like, Marshmallow is also obviously a big boy, like at 5/5 and a 2 quester. Like, yeah, it just feels like this could give you such a lopsided board state just because you are, like, locking down 3 to 4 of your opponent's characters. And so, like, that just seems very strong. And the fact that they stay exerted, I feel like would make it very hard for them to make a good trade into Marshmallow. Yeah, so I'm definitely, most likely I'm going to be at least trying out this deck or see if I stick with Blurple for core. But if I do, Marshmallow is definitely going to be the thing. Next up, Mickey Mouse Bob Cratchit. 3/2 for a 2 inkable, quest for 1. When he quests, put the top card of your deck face down under him. When this character is banished in a challenge, you can put all cards from under him under another chosen character or location of yours. So, like, he kind of boosts one of your other characters eventually. Interesting. Like, that seems like you could do something cool with that. Again, like, I don't know if there's enough stuff. We got this Morty coming up later that we'll talk about. But I don't know if there's enough cards like we have other than like that. We got our Genie from earlier that cares about the number of different cards under him. So, like, if you can, like, bank that stuff up, it does seem like you could get a crazy quest at some point in time. This also kind of lets you double with that Donald. That, like, so, like, Mickey would go to your discard, draw 4 cards. Then whenever the card that you put those cards under goes to your discard, you're also getting more cards. Seems cool. Is it good? I don't know, but it's here. Next up, Minnie Mouse, 5 inkable 3/4 Mrs. Cratchit. Ward, quests for 2. When you play this character, you can put the top card of your deck face down under one of your characters or locations with a boost. If you do, draw a card. So free boost, and you get to draw a card, and it quests for 2. I mean, if this hypothetical boost deck wants to be going big like that, again, that seems pretty powerful. Anytime you can boost for free, air quotes for free, I think that's very powerful. And then this also just gives you a card if you're doing what your deck wants to do. Seems cool. Notably, it has to be a character or location with boost. So like the location that we looked at earlier, that like the Graveyard of Christmas Future, this does care about cards being under it, but it does not have boost. So you could not put a card under it with mini. So interesting. Next, Moana, 5 inkable for 5. The Curious Explorer, quests for 2. You can ink cards from your discard. So like that Sail the Azurite Sea that you played on turn 2, you can now ink it. Notably, this like doesn't give you the ability to ink extra cards itself. So like if you have to ink to play Moana, you don't get to use the ability that turn. So this is kind of a 6-drop in that regard, where you want to play this and be able to ink right away. Obviously is a princess, so this does work with Cinderella. So you could play Cinderella on 4, ink a card for free, then play Moana on 5, ink from your discard, and then end of turn ink from your hand for free. Because notice like this doesn't change how the effect works for Cinderella, but like it's interesting. It's kind of like drawing a card, right? Like if you squint, this is kind of draw a card because you're not using a card from your hand to ink every turn. You're using a card from your discard. So you're getting to hold that card. Interesting. If the card quests for 1, I think this would also be a completely different conversation. But the fact that this quests for 2, like that does feel like something. Morgana, Macalber, 6 inkable, 6/6, shift 4. When you play this character, you can choose an opposing character and move 1 damage from each other character to them. Quests for 1. So compared to Belle, which is a 5 ink for 4, shift 3. That one quests for 2. You move 3 damage from a character to an opposing character. This could theoretically move a lot of damage to one thing and take out like a big character in a way that Belle cannot. But this does rely on you having damage in a bunch of different places. Which in the current format isn't really something that you want to do because of Prince Philip. And so again, I don't know. Interesting, but like I feel like you would rather just have Belle, on top of the fact that like Belle is a more powerful character name than Morgana is. And so yeah, there's only 2 Morganas, so like whereas there's so many different Belles that like Belle is just such a powerful name comparatively. But interesting like take on that effect. It feels like a potential downgrade from that, but I don't know. You could obviously set this up where you have damage on your characters and then you just move a bunch over. But like again, just like keeping damage on enough things to make that happen just feels super dangerous in the game. Let alone if your opponent's playing purple also, so they have Cheshire. So next up, 3 ink, 3/3. Morty, Field Mouse, Tiny Tim, quests for 1. During your turn, whenever you put a card under one of your other characters, you can put the top card of your deck under this character. So Morty doesn't have boost. But if you can put cards under things different ways, gets cards. And then whenever this character gets +1 lore for each card under him. So again, similar to the Genie, this character gets +1 lore for each card under him. Genie has boost and Tim doesn't. Notably, though, you could play one of them on turn 3 Then on turn 4, play the other one and boost Genie, and then you would get a card under both of them. That works out really well for the curve, if that's what you're wanting to do. And this also would work well with Mickey, where like on turn 3 you play Mickey, turn 2 you play Mickey, turn 3 you play Morty, you quest with Mickey, put a card under Mickey, put a card under Morty. Then on the next turn you quest with Mickey, put a card under Morty also. So there's 2 cards under Morty. Then you play Genie, boost Genie. There's now 3 cards under Morty, and he quests for 4 on the turn after he's readied. Like, that feels cool. Like, again, like this is a little like Magical Christmas Land where they're not able to like defeat your characters or something, but like it's a cool effect. And I could see this doing a lot. And then, yeah, there are cards that like put cards under everything. Like, and so like if you have something, I guess this is once during your turn. So the Genie play doesn't actually work. The Mickey and Genie play doesn't work. I don't want to put the top card of your, yeah. So we would only quest for 3 in that situation. But like, if you have enough ways of like making sure you get a card under Morty, I don't know. Like if you can quest for 3 or 4 with this card twice, like that feels very powerful. Next up, we got Mulan. 2 inkable, 1/4. She's a resourceful recruit as she fights these snowmen. This character quests gain lore equal to her strength to a maximum of 6. So notably, she doesn't have a like diamond, so she quests for 0. And then you gain lore equal to her strength. So if you could give her the ability to quest for something with like Alice, I believe that would stack and would let you quest for 7 if you could get her strength maxed. I don't think there's a lot of Anthem effects in the game, like just a permanent other characters you control get +1 strength. Like, I don't think there's a lot of stuff like that just is permanent that you wouldn't have to like reactivate every turn, but like you could just like keep Mulan at like 3 or 4. Again, this would become a 2-drop. If you could make this be a 2-drop 3 quester at a base, like consistently get her pumped that way, like that would be really strong. And then like anything past that is fantastic. 1/4 is relatively difficult to get rid of. And so yeah, again, if you can like kind of like Morty, if you can get 2 quests out of Mulan at 3/4 plus, that feels very strong. Again, obviously works with Ling as well. Where if you were to play Ling on turn 4, you could then pump Mulan, and Mulan like gets 1 more lore when she quests. Mystical Ink Caster, 3 uninkable item. 3 and exert it to play a character with cost 5 or less for free. They gain rush at the end of the turn. Banish them. I know I've seen people, just because it's an amethyst card that costs 5, talking about this with the Hades from last set, where you choose a character they either put on the bottom of the deck or you draw a card, or draw 2 cards. And so like this would theoretically let you like, you could pick an exerted character, and then now they're even more incentivized, or pick an unexerted character while they have an exerted character. Because now this becomes even more difficult for them to make that decision, because Hades could take out the exerted character and leave them with nothing. Interesting effect for sure. Feels expensive to be 3 every turn, but like this having to be like 6 ink to play this and activate it on the turn you play it feels like a lot. But it's something. Next up, Nani's Payback, 4 inkable action. Each opponent loses lore equal to the damage on chosen character of yours to a maximum of 4 lore each. Draw a card. So if you have a character with 4 damage, they lose 4 lore. That's cool. Typically, like, the make your opponents not gain, or like typically like taking lore from your opponents hasn't been super powerful. Unless it's like a pirate's life where you also are gaining lore. Like just taking lore away, typically hasn't been super played, but it's cool. Again, it's cool. I like it. Probably not good enough to see play, but the type of card that I could see becoming a big deal. Especially once we get a smaller core again. Next, Negaduck. Public enemy number 1. 5 inkable, 6/5. Shift 3. When this character challenges another character, each opponent loses 1 lore and you gain a lore. So it's a mini Pirate's Life there with that drain. What are the other? Okay, there's one other Negaduck, which like at least fits the curve, right? A 2 inkable 4/2 isn't anything amazing, but like this letting you curve into your shift and then letting you drain whenever you quest. Again, I don't know if that's good enough, but that's pretty cool. Next, Ohana means family. Action. Remove all damage from chosen character of yours. Draw a card for each 1 damage removed this way. So this is Rapunzel's ability, who has rotated out. This card feels like it's not going to be good in the same sense of like the distance between Let It Go and Hades is drastic. And then this feels like the same type of thing of like, the distance between this effect and having a character that quests for 2 that has this effect, again, it just feels like this is not going to be a huge thing. Interesting that it's another legendary Amber action. I haven't been paying attention to that with the current stuff, but I know one of the only other legendary actions is also Amber. So, with Circle of Life. So, is that something that rarity, legendary type action? Oh, Return of Hercules is also one. Each player may reveal a card from their hand and play it for free. Is Circle of Life not legendary? Am I crazy? Circle. It is. Oh, it's because it's a song. Okay, I see. I see how we messed up the filter and got ourselves confused. Regardless, Amber isn't the only color that has a legendary action. Next, Olaf, Snowman of Action. 9 drop. 9 is insane. 4/4, quest for 2. For each action card in your discard, you can pay 1 less to play this character. When you play this character, each opponent loses 2 lore. Again, like making your opponents lose lore on its own is not that great. Especially because like if you're ahead and your opponent just actually has no lore, like you just don't get that effect. But this does quest for 2. Like that is something. And again, theoretically can be close to free in like a Sapphire Ruby like action list. Like you don't need to play this for 0 to get a good return on it. And then they're like if you can pay 3 for this and get for 3 inkable 3 for a 4/4 that quests for 2 and drains your opponent for 2, like that seems like that could be a good deal. In Infinity, this sings Be Prepared really easily. Like again, I don't know if that's what that deck needs in Infinity, but like that is cool. Next, Pete, Ghost of Christmas Future. 5 inkable 5/5, quests for 1, boost 1. Whenever this character quests, look at any number of cards on the top of your deck equal to the number of cards under him. Put 1 in your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So this basically like draw the best card out of your top X is how this reads every time you quest. So like you play this on 5, on turn 6 you boost him, and then you quest and you draw that card. Then on the next turn you boost again, you quest, you look at 2. It feels very slow unless you're putting cards under this another way. But this at worst is like draw a card every turn. Like That is pretty cool on a 5/5. Like this is not a bad card for like closing the game, in the sense of just like, I'm going to quest and get a card every turn for the rest of the game. Like even if, as long as you get one card under Pete, like just quest draw a card doesn't feel awful. I could see that, like, again, you need like a slower deck. I could see this being like a one of in Baja. Again, I'm not an expert on that deck, but like this feels like the kind of card that could be a one of. It's big, it trades with stuff, and then, or takes stuff out, and then like worst case scenario, you could boost it and start drawing cards. Piglet, Coca Maker. 5 inkable 3/5, shift 3, quest for 2. At the end of your turn, remove up to do 2 damage from each of your characters. I love the aggressive Sapphire cards. Like, this is a 3 ink quest 2 with that shift ability. Like, and then just like, hey, your characters have damage, or like your characters are now more difficult for your opponent to get rid of because you're going to heal them every turn. I like this. Again, I think this is cool. Is it good enough? I don't know. It is an ally, and like there are a bunch of blue cards that care about allies. Like there's a good number of piglets. Is it not 2 T's? It is not 2 T's. There's 7 different piglets. Like, I mean, I don't... Unfortunately, like, the new Piglet is the only one I think you would consider shifting this onto. Because, like, I don't think you would want to ever shift on top of Pooh Pirate Captain, just because that card's amazing. But, like, some sort of aggressive blue deck, I could see wanting this. Like, if you can not be sad about playing this Piglet, could be worth it. Probably not. This is probably like a starter deck style card, but like I like that we're getting this, I guess is the way to say it. Next up, Pocahontas, uninkable 2-drop 3/2. She's following the wind. She quests for 1, and then whenever this character quests, gain lore equal to another chosen exerted character's lore. So really cool with bodyguard characters, like a 3-drop bodyguard. 3-drop bodyguard. So like you play Clawhauser. Again, Clawhauser is a card that I want to see play that just doesn't. So we're going to pick Clawhauser for our cool example of like you play Clawhauser on turn 3, enters exerted because of bodyguard, and then now Pocahontas quests for 3. Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Are there... we got Prince Philip back in Infinity, so that's not really anything. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it just feels like if there's enough stuff, like, if you can reasonably have a 3-drop that enters exerted... what are our 2-drop bodyguards? I assume few, if any of them, have 2 lore. Yeah, none of them do. But yeah, I don't know. Like that just feels cool. Again, like it just feels like a lot. Also works off your opponent's characters. Like if you're in an aggro match, they quest with their Daisy. You can now quest with Pocahontas. Like that seems cool. Like you're winning that race. And then you get shift Pocahontas. Pocahontas Peacekeeper, 5 inkable 3/6. Quest for 2. When you play this character, if you use shift to play her and none of your characters challenged this turn, characters can't challenge until the start of your next turn. So as long as you didn't challenge, you basically get free quests, and then you get to quest your next turn also. And again, pending other shenanigans, but notably, even if like, when you play this character, this isn't like a static effect. This is just an effect that now exists on the game. So even if they get rid of Pocahontas, they still can't challenge your stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels really good. I think like this could end up being one of the more powerful cards in the deck, or in the set. Again, all awesome enchanted. I'm shocked that this is not pre-ordering for a whole bunch. Oh, okay, it is. Okay, it just isn't there. Pre-ordering for $43. Yeah, I think this card's really cool. I could see this being one of the big players in the format. Next up, how are we doing on time? We got 30 minutes. Next up, we got Raging Storm. We have Be Prepared at home with Raging Storm. 8 uninkable, banish all characters. It is just an action. It is not a song. And it is 1 more than Be Prep. Feels insane to me. The place that I think this is best at is the Monstro combo deck, because that is an Amber deck that already wants to go long, but typically Amber is not the color that wants long drawn out games. Like, that doesn't want to reset. It wants to finish the game. So I'd be really curious to what this would be playing. One of the cards that we memed for its cost. Okay, Jumba is characters in play. Wasn't there another? Eeyore is exerted characters in play. And then okay. So we have exerted characters, ink, characters in play. And then I thought we had another one. Oh yeah, then Olaf is actions in your discard. I don't know. This not being a song, I feel like is crazy. Just in the sense of like B Prep was arguably too good as a song. But this being 1 ink more expensive in a color that typically doesn't want to play board wipes, and then also isn't a song, just feels like a lot to me. A lot against this. And so I'm curious if this will see play. I know I've seen people posting online about this. I don't know. It just feels so slow to me. If you're playing an aggro deck, don't play this as a fun of. You should just be playing a card that finishes the game. I think we'll see a number of players that will play this card just for funsies in their Amber list, and it's going to just end up being this big uninkable card that they will just never play. Could Sapphire Amber be a thing? I don't know. Like, I've brewed a Sapphire Amber list, but like, it's not playing Raging Storm. Like, I don't know. I will say this does feel good with Grandma Tala. Like, if you're playing this in Sapphire Amber, of just like, hey, we're just going to get a bunch of stuff, Raging Storm, play Grandma Tala for free afterwards, like if once you get to 12 ink, like, that does feel good. You got to get there, but like, that does feel good. Next, Rapunzel, Ethereal Protector, 3 uninkable, 3/3, boost 2, quest 2. When this character quests that there's a card under her, chosen opposing character can't challenge until the start of your next turn. Cool piece of protection. Like, she defends your team really well. When this card was revealed, I sent it to my team, and like, this card is not a card that defines an archetype, but this is like that sneaky good card that like flies under the radar. I think kind of similar to Lexington IMO, where like Lexington is just like a 4/4 gargoyle for 3 that has alert, and like the reason Lexington is like, I know 4/4 for 3 is crazy, but like Stone by Day, they get locked down if you have too many cards. So like typically in the early game, this is like 1 card, and then like you have to wait 2 or 3 turns before you can it readies again. But like Lexington is just a really good role player that just does exactly what this card needs to do, and like doesn't feel embarrassing to play. I could see Rapunzel fitting that style thing of just like, hey, this is kind of like prevents them from challenging into you. Like, use your steal stuff to keep them down to just not enough characters to challenge through. Like, I don't know. I could see it. The Retro Evolution device is a 3 inkable item, 1 and an ink, and banish chosen character of yours. Play a character with cost 2 more than the banished character for free. It's Birthing Pod, right? Like from Magic, and like if you squint, like, that's interesting. Like, it just lets you, so you play this on 3, or you play a 3-drop character on turn 3, quest with them, play this and activate it on 4, and you get a 5-drop. Like, that's pretty cool. You get to keep that character. Like, I don't know. I could see this being a thing. Is it a good thing? I don't know about that, but like I could see it being a thing. Next, Ruben, Sandwich Expert. 2 inkable, 1/3, quest for 1, exert, remove up to 2 damage from chosen characters of yours. For each damage removed this way, pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn. I love cards like this. Give me a cost reducer that's weird. I'm in. Like, how are we getting our damage on this? Like, how are we like actually using that as our payoff? I don't know, but that's interesting. I'm in. Scrooge McDuck, Ebenezer Scrooge. For 3, for 4 on inkable, quest for 1. When this character quests, each opponent loses a lore. Draw a card for each lore lost this way. At the end of your turn, if an opponent has 0 lore, you gain a lore. Okay, so like here's our payoff for actually having an opponent at 0 lore. Notably, if they just are at 0 lore when you play Ebenezer, you just get a free lore. That's funny. And then, yeah, this is interesting. So basically, you're going to almost always just draw 1. Again, Lorcana doesn't really have a multiplayer format. But it does feel really powerful. Yeah, so then it's like, okay, well, cool, you just don't quest. Cool. I'm going to just not quest with this character and then make it harder for them to get rid of it. Like, I don't know, it feels good. Next, Scrooge McDuck, Reformed Ebenezer, 4/6 for a 6 inkable, shift 4, quests for 2. When you play this character, you can put a card from the top of your deck face down under each of your other characters. If you do, those characters gain ward until the start of your next turn. Notably, don't have to shift to get that effect. You just have to play the card. And again, this hypothetical, it kind of sucks that this Scrooge is red, is ruby. Because like, if it was emerald and this was like the style that fits this like really weird boost shell that we've been looking at, like I could see this being a big thing, but it's not. So here we are. Like I assume like there's a lot of other Scrooges. Like, is there a good 3-drop Scrooge? So this is the one from the set. During your turn, whenever a card is put in your inkwell, chosen a character gets -1 strength. Like, okay. Whenever you play this character, chosen character with the card under them quests for 1 extra. So like that synergizes really well across sets. So like, and then you have this Scrooge that you can basically play for free. This Scrooge, okay, so this is a good Scrooge that is already seen play in green decks. That shifts pretty well. Good quest, pay 1 next, the next item you play this. Oh yeah, so there's some decent Scrooges. Okay, next, Stegma, Clumsy Dinosaur, 8 inkable for a 7/7 quest for 2. 8 is a lot. For each item card in your discard, pay 1 less to play this character. Again, love that this is a cycle. That we get to meme on throughout this. Whenever you play this character, you can put 3 items from your discard on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, deal 3 damage to chosen character. If this was gain 3 lore, that'd be gas. The fact that this is just deal 3 damage. I don't know. I feel like this is like the weakest of this style card that we've seen. They are big. They do quest for 7 or quest for 2 though. Like, I don't know, maybe this is almost like the Ratigan thing from previous sets where like Ratigan was just a big boy that was like, that typically was like, hey, if you want to answer this, it's going to cost you 2 characters. Like this could theoretically 3 for 1 your opponent for 0 ink. Okay. I do like that. Next, Stitch, Carefree Snowboarder. I do like now we now have Surfer Stitch and Snowboarder Stitch. 5 inkable for 5, quest for 2. When this character quests, if you have 2 or more other characters in play, draw a card. So draws you a card ideally every turn if you're an Amber. Cool Curve Topper. Like if this is just your big end of the, like your final card that you play, and then Now you just start questing every turn and drawing an extra card. Yeah, make sure you don't run out of gas. Gets you 2 lore. Interesting 1 or 2 of in an aggro list. The deck that I brewed is running some number of these stitches. I do think it's interesting if you can ramp it out earlier. But yeah, I like this stitch a lot. Next, Sven, Sven Leaping Reindeer, for an Inkable 2/3 with Rush and a Challenger 3 and Evasive. Let's go. I am a known Iago hater. I do not like Iago. I am so excited to play this card instead of Iago. Is it better? I don't know. But the fact that this trades with an exerted Genie or an exerted Elsa, is really cool. This also trades with Dumbo. I think this is super cool. Again, I don't know if this is good enough, but the Rush evasives is super powerful. And so then here, this is if they have any exerted cards, you just get to spend them. I'm in. That seems cool. I'm curious again. Will this replace Iago? Iago is the worst evasive in that deck. And is this enough is being uninkable and being smaller on defense enough to trade with Iago being an illusion? So next, guess who's back? Tamatoa, Seeker of Shine. 7 inkable 6/6, quest for 1, boost 2, has ward, and whenever you put a card under one of your characters or locations, this character gains 1 lore this turn. You combo this with that Scrooge though, with 3 or 4 characters in play. This card now quests for 4 or 5. That feels pretty cool. I was telling this to a friend who also loves Tamatoa, that I just love that Tamatoa counts things. Of big Tamatoa, how many items do you have in play? This Tamatoa, how much boost you got? I think it's super interesting. Just likes counting. Next, cold never bothered me anyway. 3 cost Song, uninkable. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can reveal a location and put it in your hand. Put the rest into your discard pile. You can pay 3 less for the next location you play this turn. So notably that the location you play for free doesn't have to be the one that you got off the song. And so if you have a location that you're fine playing, you can sing this for free, play that location, and then move something there right away. You also don't have to just play a location for free. You could sing this on turn 4 and pay 3 less for a 5-drop location. That does seem cool. Again, locations need to be a thing, but does seem cool. Next, the Thunderquack. 3 inkable item. All opposing characters gain the villain classification. And then if a character is banished in a challenge this turn, gain a lore. It's an interesting exert effect. It just gives you the desire to just exert and take out 3 or 4 different characters. Notably, this also counts if they trade. If a character is banished in a challenge this turn, gain a lore. Was banished. Never mind. This doesn't add an effect to the game. This is if this previously happened, gain a lore. Never mind. I thought this was for the rest of the turn, if a character is banished in a challenge, gain a lore. It's not that. It is not as good as I was thinking. Reading is hard. Next, Timon. 3 uninkable 2/3 for the Snowball Swiper for 1 ink. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So very Mowgli, Ursula, Ludwig adjacent, where you're sniping a card from your opponent's hand. right now there's not really an item deck and there's not really a location deck. And so there's not a ton of non-character cards that are not actions that see play. But maybe just having another card on the curve that can hit them is worth it. I would expect that you're not playing 16 of this effect. If like with Ludwig, well, you can't play 16 because they're in multiple colors. But like if you're playing Amber Sapphire, I expect that you're not playing 2 or 4 Mowglis, 4 Ludwigs, and 4 Timons. Like, that just feels insane. But maybe you're running some combination of those. When you're just hoping to just snipe enough. I could see playing Ludwig in this. And not playing Mowglis. But, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that we now have another version of this effect to do. Next up, Tinkerbell. Also say there are cards like that we looked at like from the very beginning that care about taking an opponent's card and putting it on like from their discard onto the bottom of their deck. So like this does enable that. So next, Tinkerbell Snowflake Collector. 3 inkable 3/3 quests for 1. If you have 4 or more cards in hand, this character gains evasive. If you have 7 more cards in hand, this character quests for 4. I don't know how often you're getting back to 7 cards in hand in a deck or in a game where you're playing this as a 3-drop. Like, having more evasives is always cool, especially more inkable evasives. But like, there's another Tinkerbell that I think is a 3-drop quests for 2 and is evasive. Oh, it's spaced. There's, this Tinkerbell. That is always evasive and quests for 2. That like already doesn't really see play. But maybe with like Shift Tink, you want 6 3-drop Tinkerbells, and just having this card as as 2 more copies is good enough. And then occasionally it has this, and occasionally you happen to get the 7 cards. That feels like a stretch for Purple Steel, but like maybe. I don't know. Like it doesn't feel like Blurple would want this card, and Blurple is the color that is most likely going to get up to having 7 or more. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Next, Todd. 7 inkable, or Todd knows all the tricks. 7 inkable 6/6. Quest for 2, shift 5, and evasive. Twice during your turn, whenever this character is chosen for an action or an item's ability, you may ready him. This might be the first occurrence of twice during your turn in the game. It's the first instance of the word twice in the game. So like that's interesting. So like in like an Infinity deck, like you could play Possicle, like quest with Todd for 2, Possicle to heal 2 damage or 0 damage off Todd, ready Todd, quest for 2 again, play another Possicle and do that, and quest for 6. Like the fact that this doesn't make it so he can't quest. What is the other Todd that is in the game? So we have one coming up that we'll talk about, and then we have a 1-drop. So really not a lot of Todds. Okay, let's look at this other one. So Todd, Playful Kit, 2/4, quest for 2. When this character quests, choose 1. Gain a lore, or chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So quest for 3, or gives evasive. Interesting that you lose that ability to gain that lore if you shift. I do like that these work together, where if you have 4-drop Todd and Big Todd, you could choose Big Todd. Choose my action or items ability. Never mind, not character's ability. So that does not synergize. But I like this Little Todd. I think Little Todd is fun. Just like a 4-drop that quests for 3 and sometimes gives itself evasive, or gives something else evasive. That feels pretty cool. Next, Visiting Christmas Past, 3 inkable action. Put any number of cards from under your characters and locations into your inkwell face down and exerted. So this could get you a large number of ink, but if you're playing characters with boost that want a lot of cards under them, you do not want to be getting rid of those cards with Visiting Christmas Past. If you're playing this with that Genie or with Morty, you just want to have those cards under those characters. But maybe there's a world where you are anticipating them dying, and so you're gonna quest for 4, play this, get those 4 cards from that are under each of them into your inkwell, and then hey, you can either kill them, banish my character, or I'm gonna just start building this back up next turn. I don't know, that just doesn't feel like what you would want to be doing, but I don't know. Again, it's just it feels off to me. Next, Widow Tweed, 6 uninkable 2/6. She's a kindly soul. Quest for 2. When you play this character, return a character from your discard to your hand. If that character is named Todd, you can play him for free. So, theoretically gets you the 7-drop Todd that you can then play for free. So shift 5, Todd dies, and then you replay it with Widow Tweed. Interesting. A card that theoretically I could see being good eventually once we get more Todds, more than just the 3 that we have right now. But next, Willie the Giant, Ghost of Christmas Present, 4 inkable 7/7. Quest for 2, boost 3. This character can't quest or challenge unless you put a card under him this turn. So this is boost, a character with a drawback, so you have to boost every turn to use him. This card feels bad. This card feels like a trap with boost 3. If this is boost 1, cool, whatever, but boost 3 is insane. That's so much ink every turn. Or you have to find so many other ways to put a card under him, just so you can quest for 2. Just play other 4-drops that quest for 2. I don't know. This just feels crazy to me. Then our final card, the Witches of Morva. They're Ordu, Orwin, and Orgok. 5 uninkable 4/4, quest for 2. When you play this character, you can return another chosen character of yours to your hand. If you do, gain a lore. So they do a Madam Mim impression. When you get to bounce something, gain a lore. It's kind of like the Madam Mim and Merlin Goat combined. Feels slow. Having burn is nice. Lore that isn't tied to actually questing can be very powerful, just as a way. That's why Merlin Goat and Madam Mim Fox were so strong together. Just ways of sneaky gaining lore. Gaining 1 once is probably not enough. If this was also whenever they quested, I think that would be very powerful. Because then you could just quest a bunch of cards, bounce something with the witches, and then replay it. And now it is ready for the next turn, or ready for your opponent's turn, and they can't challenge into it. But yeah, I don't think this is a thing. But yeah, so really cool cards. I am really liking this set. Lots to think about, especially with our cycle of cost reducers. I think that's going to be a really interesting part of this set for each. And then let's do set Winterspell for each. Should I need to do for each card? No, this does not work. This gets us Grandma Tala. Quest costs 9 or more. Costs 8 or more. Okay, so yeah, here's all of them. Okay. So we have one that cares about aliens or cards in your discard. Or alien cards in your discard. Eeyore cares about exerted characters. Tala cares about cards in your inkwell. Jumba cares about cards or characters in play. Olaf cares about actions in your discard. And then Stegmut cares about items in your discard. I think Jumba is the strongest. Amber decks just already want to play a lot of characters. And then the fact that it's like, I can heal your stuff. Probably not the most relevant part. And then I think Eeyore, just caring about exerted characters, is very easy to play. Like, again, it wouldn't be unreasonable that you could have 2 or 3 characters of your own exerted and your opponents could have 2 or 3 characters exerted. And you could just play Eeyore for very cheap. Then you get to lock down one of their characters too. Like, Dr. Hamsterville. I love that we're getting more cards that are characteristics. That's not really something that we've talked about this turn, but like, this card is an alien and they care about aliens. In your discard. And so I could see that being a thing. Steel does have a lot of discard effects. And so I could see that being something that, like, it's just easy enough to get enough aliens in your discard. That a late game Hamsterville off the top is just free. I could definitely see that being a thing. Between Doc, Yzma's is Amethyst, but like cares about you having only a few cards in hand. Like Goliath just like already wants you to have a low cards in hand, and so like you just play things out. Discard one, like your first one of these gets inked, and then like the next one you get to play for free. And then Olaf, is strong. We would need a Ruby deck, and that Ruby deck would need to be an action deck. Ruby Amethyst is a thing, but isn't really as good as the other Amethyst colors right now. And so, but I mean, if we ever get this power, I still hold out that I think there's a power line deck somewhere in core. And it's just like, we need like the 1 or 2 pieces to complete the set, which I don't think we're got in this set, but like, and then I think Stegmut is just the weakest right now. There's just not enough items that see play. I don't know if there's anything in this set that's going to change that, but, and then, I mean, Tala. So I was going to order them. I think it's Jumba, Eeyore, Tala, Hamsterville, Olaf, Stegmut. I think that's my order. But yeah, all that. Let's take a quick look at a deck. So this is a deck that I threw together while I was on my trip. So it's possible that like more cards have come out for this since I put it together, since I haven't had internet for 6 days. So, so let's do our layout. We're going to also change it. When I was throwing this together, one of the cards didn't exist yet, but there's now a 1-drop item that I think is better. Okay, I should just do it this way. So currently, like, our best 1-drop item was Detective's Badge, which gives resist and detectives, and it becomes a detective till the start of your next turn. We now have Tiny Tim's Crutch, so chosen character gains support this turn. I think that is stronger. It's possible that we want 1 or 2. We still want 1 or 2 detectives badges, but let me save this real quick. This goes away. Okay, and then let's go to. Let's go back. Okay, so this is a deck that I threw together, chatting with a friend, and kind of just taking some of the ideas. Clawhouse feels like it's in here by mistake. I did talk about really liking Clawhouse, but I don't think they're supposed to be here. I don't know what I clicked instead of Clawhouse, or clicked Clawhouse instead of, but here we are. Ignore them. Pay no attention to the Clawhouse behind the mirror. And so, okay, so I threw this together as a Sapphire Amber aggro deck built around Ikad et Amuti. So this is it lets you play a card for cheap. Let's zoom in. Lets you play a card for cheap or for 2 less. And so the idea being that in this deck there are 2 ways to sing that song on turn 2. So the first one is Angel, Star Singer. There's a series of underdog cards in this set that if you're going second, you get to play them for 1 instead of 2. So this is because if you're going second, this is a 1-drop Singer 3. And then the other way is one of my favorite cards, which is Bell Accomplished Apprentice Inventor. There we go. Combining our bells there. And so this bell, you can banish an item to play her for free. So you have 2 different ways. Both are finicky in their own ways, which probably means that this deck is bad. And so the idea is to get one of those in play on turn 1, and then you can sing. That gives you access to effectively 4 ink on turn 2. So you can use that to like play a literal 4-drop where you have Belle, Snowfield Strategist that we talked about, and then you also have Cinderella from the previous set. But then this also just gives you a bunch of other cards that you can do. Again, ignore this Clawhauser. It gives you a ton of other stuff to do with that 4 ink. So you could play Lady, put Lilo into play, or play Lady, put Ludwig into play, and then play Daisy. So that puts 3 extra bodies in play on turn 2. And you just get a lot of questing power out of those. I wonder if this was supposed to be another Sultan. I have no clue how I clicked Clawhauser. You also have like the new Percy that quests for 3. And then you have Stitch as your refill. So ideally, if you're investing enough in getting something like Cinderella in play on turn 2, like turn 2, you play Cinderella, you ink again, and then you have 4 ink again on turn 3. And so that gives you the ability to play another princess. You have a handful of them as your upper end cards. That gives you some interesting stuff there. You then also have this Stitch as a way of drawing cards. You don't have to use Ikud on turn 2. Like this could just be another way that I don't have them in this list. But like if there was just a normal, this works with normal Angel, I guess, if you're not underdog. But like you can also sing on turn 3 and have access to 6 ink. And so singing then instead of turn 2 is pretty powerful. So I have access to 5 ink, not 6 ink. So that lets you play Stitch on turn 3, or play Moana on turn 3. Moana's not as good because you're not inking. You've already inked on turn 3 if you need to do that play. But yeah, so this is like this thing I threw together. We also have Ohana Means Family to just heal up your stuff, draw more cards, might solve a mystery since we are both an item deck and a character deck. I grabbed that. And then we have our Tiny Tim's Crutch and we have Ink Runner. So yeah, I think this deck is bad, but like it seems cute. And I like that. I think that's a fun way of like having a strange deck. Let's edit this real quick. We are going to, let's just go up a Sultan and go down a Clawhauser. And then let's save. And so again, is this good? Probably not. I think there's probably a better Ikud deck, and then there's probably a better, we know there are better Cinderella decks. And so I think this is probably a worse version of both of those, but it was something that was tickling my brain. And so now let's build a deck and have some fun. And so let's go to decks. This is what we're in for today. Decks. Deck builder. I don't want to like mess with the deck that I have. But like we already saved, right? I'm so let me tell you, man. I'm not always confused on Dreamborn, but when I click stuff, let me tell you. Okay, so that's okay. Just get rid of that tab. Let's just build a new deck. Okay, so let's look at our legality and set this for core. And then I want to do amber, or I want to do amethyst. And I want us to start with the new Annas. Because I think that, so we didn't talk about like our lower rarity cards, but we have this Anna that when you play this character, you can put a card from chosen player's discard on the bottom of their deck. So this on turn 2 lets you shift, like this Anna enables the bigger Anna for free, which is really cool. I like that a lot. Again, just like this, like just lets you just shift on its own. And so I think that that's really interesting. And then I think, let's see, we're going to put in 2 of these or 3 of these Kristoffs as a starting point. I don't know if we're keeping this, but, and then let's search for, what's the phrasing of this? Put a card. Put that card. Bottom of, search for bottom. I want to get, this is one of the issues that I have with how things are worded. It's the Horned King. Yeah, so if during your turn, if 1 or more cards left a player's discard this turn, this character gains 2 lore. So like we have this. This has a shift as well. When one of your characters, you turn them to your hand, then choose and discard a card. So, but like I think this is like a powerful enough effect, just as a way of like, hey, we're gonna play Anna on 3, and then do this, and then discard. Let's search for. Will that get us there? To deck into their discard, draw a card, discard a card. That's not good enough. I want this Jafar to be a thing because I got signed copies from the DLC. If an effect would cause you to discard 1 or more cards, no. Get this queen. This is the queen that I referenced earlier. So like I think this is a very interesting shell where you're playing like, again, like this Anna, this queen, and this Anna as a way of like caring about cards in the discard. And then it just becomes, okay, what's the best way to pay off that effect? Of like, you need to make sure there's stuff in the discard. You need to make sure that you're doing things. I don't necessarily have the answer to that, but like, if we come and look at like, if we go to Amber, let's search, cost low to high. Like this gives us access to Aurora, which lets us power out like these bigger cards even quicker. We're not really boosting. This lets us also play like this Pocahontas, which is interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily where we would want to be. Let's see. Tiana is cool. I don't know if we'll see if this is a Tiana deck, though. Like, it probably is. I say I don't know if we are. It probably is. If you're going to be playing this, you're probably playing Tiana. And then I do love the cheeky, like, one of Snow White. And then here, we're probably playing, I like Pocahontas. Let's take this off. And let's do Pocahontas. Because this gives us access. Oh, I hate we switched to franchise. Pocahontas. Pocahontas. I'm gonna just do contains Pocahontas. Okay, so this gives us access to when this character quests gain lore for another chosen character. So this gives us that, and then this gives us. I don't know if we're playing 4 of those. Let's do this. We are probably a John Smith's Compass deck. Let's put 3 of those in. And then, okay, so then let's do Panda Boy. How's it going?
Hello there.
Hope you're having a great day. We're building a Lorcana deck, seeing what we can see. Let's do Queen. Let's see. What do we want to do here? I think we want this Queen because this puts cards into our discard and lets us remove cards from our discard. So like this does both parts of the effect. I want to play this Elsa, but I don't think we are. Let's do. I do think we're playing this Elsa because it is a queen. Let's do a cheeky. What do we got cards? Let's do a 2 of Big Elsa. That's probably bad. We're not. We're not in Sapphire, Cameron. Be chill. Queen, and let's go back to Princess. Is there anything else specifically in? I feel like did I just retype Queen? Okay. Is there anything else here that we want to do? I don't think so. Are we a Bell deck? I do really like this card. Let's do 2 of those. And then I think the problem with that is I just think there's not enough bells that we would want to play that this shifts onto. I think this hits in the same problem that Blurple has, which is right now, like, there's not really a shift bell that we want. Panda, how's your week been? It's been a minute. I hope it was a good one. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. What have you been playing? What have you been watching? What have you been listening to? We are caught up on Fallout, and then we need to catch up on Night of the Seven Kingdoms before the episode tonight. But finished Alone in the Dark. Nice. I'm happy that you are happy. Or I hope you're happy. I hope it was a good ending. Been playing Black Ops 1 and Civ 7. Nice. Get that civilization going. Okay, so we have all of this. Let's look at songs. Are there songs that we want to be playing? What is our split right now? We're pretty evenly split on our characters, so I don't know if we specifically want a champion. These are just cards that care about songs. So you might start Hellblade too. Let me know what you think. I've never played one of the Hellblade games. They seem very cool. Like they seem like a game I would enjoy, but I have never played them. Type songs. Probably need some number of World's Greatest Criminal Mind. Let's see. I'm not opposed to some number of Moonsong. I do like Be Our Guest. I think if we're playing Be Our Guest, we're not playing as much of these other things because we just want to maximize our numbers. But okay, yeah. So like, what if let's go down here. We have 8 non-characters. And so let's go back to our characteristic for princess or queen. Okay. So this gives us, we have 5 cards to work with. What do we want to do? I could see us being this Elsa deck. I mean, I guess if we're going this deep in queens and princesses, maybe we have 10 10 non-characters, and then we have 3 spaces left over. Fireman, how's it going? Can you show the new board wipe card in Amber? I sure can. Dooba-dooba-doo. The Raging Storm. 8 uninkable banish all characters as an action. So, Fireman, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. I can click on it and make it bigger for you. Appreciate you coming by. Let's see. Are you excited for Winterspell? I hope so. I am so excited. Also, really cool. Again, love these enchanteds. And so, I'm not a collector. I just like to play the cards. And so, but man, I love this style. Let's see. We have 3 spots left over. I do think that there's an alternate version of this deck. We want like low drop queens and stuff. Actually, we're probably in the Daisy Duck problem. Okay, sounds good. We're like, if you're playing Amber, you should just be playing Daisy. And then let's cut. Something else. We'll probably cut one of these bigger queens. And so, interesting budget deck. Let's save. Set 11. Amber. Let's just do yellow, purple. Yellow, purple, princesses. Save. It's an interesting list for sure. I don't know if this is great, but it's possible that we just need to be playing some other aggro things. But I do love that we have, again, this is one of the things that bothers me about this site. It's like I just want to get back to the deck to view it here. Let's view here. Okay, so we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, 25, 29. We have 29 and then 31 cards that the compass hits. Then we have a large number of cards that the core hits, and then Be Our Guest hits another, like almost all of our deck. So this is most of the time going to get us, going to be getting us a character. Cool deck, cool brew. I'm excited to see where this deck goes and this set goes. We are going to need to call the stream there because I got some stuff that Deanna and I need to go take care of. But until next time, I should say, back tomorrow over on First Geek for 11, where we are going to be playing some more Daggerheart. So that is exciting. I hope everybody can come and join us over there. And then, yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week, probably playing something. Maybe back to Assassin's Creed Mirage. Maybe we'll be trying something else. Not really sure. But with all of that said, I hope you have a fantastic Sunday. I will catch you later. Bye.